Mike,
Technical. Okay, now I hear.
you can hear me now.
You should be able to, because all of a sudden it just came out.
You can hear me now.
Yes, they can hear you now.
Now you can hear me.
Yeah, everybody can hear you.
Can everyone hear Pops? That's the real
Can you
question.
hear me?
Okay. Okay, good.
Hooked on a feeling.
All right. Pops doesn't need to sing.
Really. It's the inaugural episode.
Wow.
So there's no way you can get
That was a big sneeze.
any of the questions or anything else.
What do you mean? I can.
All I see is you and me.
Oh, I'm.
But I have to look over here to see the chat.
You know what's funny is I forgot to do this.
Yeah, share your screen or
I
whatever.
forgot to share my screen.
Yeah, thank you. That's very helpful especially when we're doing something that's yeah.
Hey, I can turn my frame rate up now.
Well, that's very nice.
So, how is
I dig it.
everyone today? So we start up. Is it sharing the screen? No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
I didn't do
It's
it yet. So yeah, just okay. So I'll have to give you back your points. We won't have the TTS going on tonight because we are recording this for YouTube.
in the podcast place.
Yeah. So there'll be no TTS tonight. Sorry. Sorry, I know I suck.
I'm doing great, Rich. Yeah.
Doing good, Rich. Just got home a little bit ago.
Dan wants a refund.
Yeah, Dan's not
I
getting
don't
shit.
blame you, Dan. I thought there was going to be bells and whistles too.
It's gonna. There will be eventually, but the inaugural
But
episode,
I
we gotta
understand.
keep it
Keep it
low
kind of
quality so people don't
low
expect much in the future.
Well, I don't think people expect much from us any time of the week. If you go back and you look at the first ever RTPW, I think we've jumped leaps and bounds from there.
Oh, fuck. So where do we want to start first? What do you guys want to talk about first? We have Elimination Chamber predictions. We have a few questions from you guys in the Discord. We can go over the 2K roster. I think it dropped today. And I think we can go over the 2K soundtrack as well. If you guys want to talk about 2K24 stuff.
And we are going to go over like last week's SmackDown and Raw. We're going to go over a little bit of
We're going
stuff.
to go over those. We're going to go over
Elimination Chamber.
yeah, predictions for Elimination Chamber. So what do you guys want to see first? I have something pulled up. I have the Elimination Chamber card pulled up. But we can do the questions first. Just want to make sure I have this
Sounds perfect.
minimized. Okay. All right, questions. Let me get into the Discord here.
I already have it pulled up. The first question on the you want me to? Well, you go ahead. You're the host.
Technically, it's you first. Let's see. Our first question comes in from Survivalist. How did Pops become a hardcore fan of wrestling, and did he ever want to become a wrestler?
All right. Well, I guess this is all on me. I became a hardcore wrestler January 13th, 1980. I was watching the back then you had 3 channels on your television, and that's the only way you got it. It was all WWF. It was WWF wrestling. Uh, in my area at this time. Later on, we'll hear about the cable. But anyways, so we had gotten wrestling, and I'm watching the weekly show, and in the ring was a Bruno Sammartino, and he was talking with Larry Sabisco, and Larry Sabisco and was his Bruno Sammartino was his mentor, let's say. And what he ended up doing was they got into an argument. Larry hit him over the head with a chair. Now, back in those days, they were like wooden chairs. They weren't even metal chairs or anything like that. So, blah, blah, blah. I got to pull this up because I got to see. Um, hit him with the wooden chair, and all of a sudden, big X, big red X, come on the screen. And let me tell you, fucking 10-year-old me, I was hooked ever since that day. I was like, what the fuck is this? There's blood and you can't see it. Because back then you weren't allowed to show blood on television, anything like that. So that's how I became the hardcore fan of wrestling and stuff like that. The answer to the other question, what was the question?
Did you ever want to? Did you ever
Oh,
want
did
to
I ever
become
want
a
to be?
wrestler?
Yes. Now let's fast forward about 2-3 years later. I got cable. Okay. And then I started getting into all the other wrestlings and stuff like that. And I used to go to Springfield Civic Center had a wrestling match once a month, like a house show type deal in Springfield Civic Center. So my buddy, God, Michael Phelps, R.I.P.
Not
Michael.
the swimmer.
He used to bring me to bring him us. We used to go. I used to go with him. His grandfather ran security, so he used to get us into the back. So I met many a superstars back then, and this and that. But one of the people I did meet that was Pat Patterson, and Pat Patterson was standing by like a Coke machine thing with Michael and stuff, and Pat came over and he was talking to me, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and he was like, you're a big guy, and this and that, and I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I am, and stuff like that. But you see, now years later, this story could be touched as something wrong, but because of all the things we knew about Pat Patterson, I didn't know he liked to groom young boys back then. But he was like in charge of the talent relations. So as he's talking to me, he's like, "You ever think about becoming a wrestler?" And I was like, "Hell, fuck yeah, I'd love to be a wrestler." He's like, "How old are you?" And when I told him 13, he's like, "Oh, usually we don't take people at the school until like 16. But if you got your parents' permission, and this that." And as he's saying this, he kind of rubbed his hand. He was rubbing my back, and he kind of touched my butt. So I was touched by Pat Patterson. But so there you go. Did I want to become? Yes. And I just told David before that if I would have known, I would have let him do me in the butt. If I could have become a wrestler. I was 13. I didn't know. I didn't think anything of it
All
back then.
right.
What? That's
I'll give
what?
my opinion on the. I'll also answer your question, Rich, if you asked me. I became a hardcore wrestling fan because it was something me and my dad both watched together. I loved the Hardy Boys, loved Team Extreme. Those guys doing the jumping through the fucking ladders and tables, ladders, and chairs. Insane.
Which he Yeah, which he tried to do many a times on a sleeping pops who used to work third shift, and he would come into the
Jeff
room in the
Hardy was my
morning.
favorite wrestler. I would climb up the bureau, do swanton bombs. It was great. Did I ever want to become a wrestler? Yes. For a little while there, I was a part of a few different backyard wrestling leagues, and we didn't really ever do matches, but we would like meet up and like there was one
Mattress out in the backyard. It was
called
great.
UWA, which is United Wrestling Association, and we had an old briefcase from a poker, like that had poker chips in it and stuff, and we put it at the top of this guy's Mateo Ortega in the RTPW world. Joey, we put it at the top of his stairs, and if you got the briefcase and you fell down and you grabbed it and you took the belt out, you would be the champion. Well, another one of our friends had grabbed it and he had the thing. He was like, "I'm gonna puke! Get off me! I'm gonna puke!" And then he ripped it out and then he had the championship. And it was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. It was that was fun.
It was fun to watch too. I was the commissioner.
Yeah, and then we brought the mattress out in the backyard and we had to do
yeah,
flips.
yeah, that was some great
stuff like that. You know, it was like a fun childhood thing to do. Watching it now and like I'm like, yeah, I couldn't do that shit. Props to everyone who wrestles. Indie, pro, everything. Our next question.
What happened? Okay, I went away and now am I back?
Yes. Our next question. Pops, what made you become a huge Dusty fan? Also, what was the first wrestling event you ever went to? That is from Gabe
All right,
Flair.
all right, Gabe. Um, the why I became a big, huge Dusty fan, was I had mentioned before, we had gotten cable and cable television. So then I started to get to watch other wrestling, and I started watching World Class Championship Wrestling out of Dallas, Texas. You guys might know some of those names, like the Von Erichs. They just did the movie and all that good stuff. But anyways, uh, and Dusty was there for a little bit, and every time he would get there, and then of course in WCW, in the early NWA days and stuff like that, I would just be drawn to
Pops died.
like me, he was like you. He was just the average guy who, who was beating up on that guy that you didn't like in school. All these little rich kids. See, I grew up in a very rich town, and stuff like that, and I didn't have all the great things. I had, six brothers and sisters. Well, six sisters and a brother. So I wore hand-me-down clothes and stuff like that, and he just totally, I could connect with him. That's, you know
So he was the most
in
relatable wrestler to you at the time.
relatable to me at the time. Him and Andre the Giant, because I was big and fat. Those were my two favorites when I was younger,
Big and fat.
and stuff like that. My first wrestling match I ever went to. Now hold down. No, it's Springfield Civic Center. Uh, it was it was one of those dark cards. The oh, I remember what I remember from the first time I ever went was I went with my brother-in-law. Well, he's not my brother-in-law, but anyways, he was going out with my sister, and he brought me. He used to bring me to shows. Um, when what's his name? Michael Phelps didn't and stuff like that, and so yeah, he used to bring me to shows down there, and I met he was good friends with Danny Davis, who was a referee. But then during the I believe it was '90s, he became like part of the Heart Foundation or something like that. Danny Davis. He was a ref that blah blah blah. So, anyways, that was my first one. That wasn't the time that I learned about Pedro Morales and Don Morocco, but that would have been my first time I went there. I met Danny Davis, and I can't remember any of the matches. And then me and him went to on closed circuit TV the first WrestleMania. Those are the two that stick out the most as I remember being at.
Nice.
That's that.
Can't get rid of this. I have so many screens open. Oh my god, why did you get so big? Um, First event I ever went to was with Pops. We went in 2021. And we went over to Springfield. It wasn't the Civic Center. It was at Tower Square in Springfield. Uh, the main event. The main event was Evil Uno versus Lince Dorado, and I, from start to finish, screamed my head off. Met one of the coolest people in the world. Two of the coolest people in the world. Rest in peace, MSP, but Aiden Agro and Danger Kid got an 8x10. They couldn't sign my 8x10 because they didn't have any Sharpies on them. Not a big deal, but also a big deal because I was bummed. I couldn't get the signature. I got this wonderful hat.
But there's a second part to that story.
I got this amazing hat that night we went to commemorate the night.
And you wouldn't let me wear it at all.
I wouldn't let Pops wear it at all. Then we basically started a tradition to where every night after we went to a wrestling event, we'd order Domino's afterwards. No matter what time, it would be like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Welcome in, Dad Trainer. We'd just go and get Domino's afterwards. So, like, we'd order it in, like, right afterwards. It's the best time.
Yeah. It's good.
So that is all we have for questions. Unless you guys want to ask questions in the chat.
And remember, in our Dad Trainer, we're going to have to get you the 150 channel points back because of the fact of the matter is we're not running them during this show because we're putting this up on YouTube and the podcast and on like Spotify and stuff.
Thank you, DT. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I do love his setup. His setup is wicked nice.
We will at the end of the pod. We'll do that at the end. Ooh, my favorite wrestling. I'll go first because I know Pops is by heart. My favorite currently of like the new age of promos is probably that Hangman one where he's talking to Mox and he's just like he's fucking screaming in his face and he's like, I'm anxious, I can't sleep, the medicine's not working, because it hits. Like, I don't take like depression medication or anything like that, but like he wakes up every day like anxious and like stressed out and all this shit. But like it just hit home.
Slapdash, thank you.
Thank you, Slapdash. Thank you. But yeah.
Now is it favorite promotions or favorite promos?
Promotions. I read it as promos. What is my current favorite right now? AEW.
Because I will answer that after, yeah.
AEW.
And my current favorite promotion is also it's got to be AEW. You know, with a close into a lot of the indies. I'm into a lot of the indies.
Oh yeah, indies are. I could watch an indie show. I would rather. In all honesty, I was told I could go to a SmackDown before, and I said I would rather go to an indie show, because no matter whether you like the person or not, you're still gonna cheer for, because there's guys in WWE I could hate both the guys, but if you go to an indie show, hey, I don't know this guy, but I love this guy, or I hate this guy, so I'm gonna cheer for the other guy.
And my favorite promo of all time, if you don't know, if you're not got my TikTok, you can go to my TikTok and you can see it. It's Hard Times by Dusty. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's Hard Times. with a close second coming to Eddie Guerrero's and Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, that is a close second for me as well.
Yeah, it's right. It's like right there, um, because that makes me cry every single time.
Guilty
But
pleasure wrestling match, asks Matt Ward. I gotta say, because I can watch it over and over. It's on a DVD I have. I forget who it is. Hold on, give me 1 second. It's an Eddie Guerrero match.
run, run, run. While he's doing his thing, he's back.
You could have told your guilty pleasure favorite match. Guilty pleasure match while
Okay,
I was gone.
I would have, but I wanted you to finish off yours.
I don't know
Mine
when it
comes
was,
from
but it was Eddie versus Ray. It had to be one of Eddie versus Ray.
it's like
Or
a guilty pleasure.
or not a
Or
guilty
go ahead.
pleasure match, but a guilty pleasure moment where I can watch it over and over and over and not ever get tired of it. Is Mr. Name Redacted, as people call him, Chris Benoit, and Eddie Guerrero just hugging at the end of WrestleMania. You're still there on my screen. Yes, Halloween Havoc 97. Yes. Yes, Matt. Either Halloween Havoc 97 or the Custody of Dom ladder match. That's I couldn't think of it. That whole storyline, the Who's Your Poppy storyline.
Right, lots of questions coming in this. My guilty pleasure matches. That's what we're working on
Yes.
right now. All right, my guilty pleasure match. It comes from a GCW show, and I love to watch it. And I don't know why. It was Matt Cordona versus not Matt Cordona. Oh God, Mr. Wrestling. What is his name? You know him as you know who I'm talking about.
No,
And
I
his
don't.
wife. The kitchen sink match. It was called the
Oh,
kitchen sink match with
Johnny Wrestling,
Johnny Wrestling and his wife
Taya Valkyrie.
Juan Tara Valkyrie. Yeah. I mean, I can watch that over and over. It was just it was a guilty pleasure. I shouldn't be liking it and enjoying it because it's a man beating on a woman, but they literally brought the kitchen sink out there, and boy, it was one of the greatest matches I ever seen. So
Next up, we got
there we go.
Korean Mercenary asking your favorite wrestling moment of all time.
All right, you want me to go first, or
Yeah, go ahead.
all right? This is a good question. This is a very good of all time. I got to pick one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna say when Hulk Hogan was revealed as the third person for the NWO and the NWO started. Where he came, he dropped a fucking leg drop on him. They're standing in, we're the new world order, and everybody's tossing trash and shit at them and stuff like that. Because that to me was like, hey, wrestling's coming back, and there's, competition between things. Because, for years, you guys got to realize I'm from the territorial days where guys went places and this and that, la la la, stuff like that. But that for me was like, okay, now we got a legit WCW versus Raw thing going on. And hey, I got that feeling that it's gonna, be coming back. So that would be one of my greatest moments. And more recently, my greatest moment was when All Out or All In. because that also gave me that feeling and that hope that, hey, we're getting something back. Because after years of them competing with each other, then we only had WWE, and that was everybody only talked about that and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in recent memory, like the biggest moment I can think of, and I can still watch it back to this day and get the same chills I got that night. CM Punk coming back to wrestling for AEW. I was a big CM Punk fan. I loved the guy, and then he left, and I
I
couldn't
know.
couldn't see him anymore. And then the night he came back, my hair stood on end. I got chills. I went in my father's room and I almost started crying because I was so happy that he was back. And it was just,
Still was excited.
it was great.
But then the asshole turned on me, and
Yeah.
that moment right there was awesome. I will admit, that you got your favorite
10
moments, but
years. He was gone.
I know, I understand, I get it. I was very happy too. I was almost in tears, but then things
Things
happen, and
happen.
then he leaves that
Yeah.
company,
I
AEW,
know.
comes to the WWE,
That,
says the same speech.
or I'll say this, for my indie guys, Alec Price finally winning the IWTV championship. I I literally bawled my eyes out. That is the most uh, to not growing up, but right now, Korean Mercenary. I will say the most inspirational wrestler to me is Alec Price, East Coast guy coming up from East Boston. Looking up to him, the man's traveled around the world multiple times now. One of the biggest superstars. I cannot believe he hasn't been signed yet. But growing up, an inspirational wrestler to me was Jeff Hardy. Constantly doing swantons, like I said. Uh, doing twist of fates to my Charmander. Like all that stuff.
All right, so we're going most inspirational wrestler to you guys. Go for David. He just mentioned him, and I know everybody's gonna think I'm gonna say one thing, but I'm not. The most inspirational wrestler for me when I was growing up
Yeah, the dancing Charmanders.
was David Von Erich. I Once I got to start watching that WCCW, um, I don't know, I man crushed on him or whatever. He had the same name as me. I could become a Von Erich, and I used to wrestle my pillow because I didn't have Charmander or anything like that. But I would wrestle my pillow, and me and him would be, the tag team champions and stuff like that. So he was inspired me along with Dusty and along with Andre. But I believe that those three men were the most inspirational.
All right. Now here's the one I've been dreading reading. He goes, okay, I got one of your guys as a well known in EFED world as a great tag team. Me and you, Pops. What is your all time favorite top 5 tag teams of all time? I'm going to go. All right.
Go ahead.
Number 1, they don't tag together anymore. MSP. Those guys, indie guys, great. I found them at one show and I fell in love with them. I have their music on their theme song on my playlist. I listen to it every day. They're like my top tier. Then I got FTR. FTR, they grew on me completely, like out of nowhere. They
I watched some of them last night.
watching so much
And
of their stuff, and you can't say FTR without bringing up the Briscoes. I know Pops is. I used to tell Pops all the time, I hate the Briscoes. They're stupid. They're just old hillbillies. I had to make it seem like he was not. I didn't like him because Pops loved them, so I had to be the heel, and I had to be like, oh fuck those guys. Uh, so yeah, the Briscoes, my third, fourth has to be the Dudley Boys. I've met Devon. That was one of the coolest moments. of my life. Devon shook my hand, gave me an autograph, signed this picture right back here. And eventually I will meet Sir Bubba Ray and get his signature. And then my fifth all-time favorite, Rich said it in the chat, the Road Warriors. Growing up, I always loved Animal and Hawk. I just thought they're fucking cool. Little vests that they wore were the awesomest things in the world. And I always did when I made characters on the WWE games. I would do the fucking Hawk face paint on my eye every time. Every time I did it.
You can get a shameless plug on my Stream Elements merchandise thing. You can get a shirt of me and David as the Road Warriors. Just to let you know. But anyways, my top five. I'm going to start at the top, the tippity top, and I'm going to go down to just like you did. Okay, number one. Okay, not the Brain Busters, but Tully and Arn Anderson. When they were in the old NWA days and this and that, they were probably my favorite, and I consider the greatest tag team of all time. Then we're going to go into number two. I'm going to go FTR because of the fact of the matter is they're just that close to me as Tully and Arn, and they remind me a lot of Tully and Arn.
I agree.
Okay, and number three, the Briscoes. Gotta love the Briscoes. You know what I'm saying? And then I love them and this and that. Now we're getting into the hard part because I only got two more teams, and I probably got about four more favorite teams. But anyways, we're on to number four, and number four has got to be the Hardys. And why I really enjoyed the Hardys. That's what connected me and David. That's so they kind of always held at a place in my heart because of the connection that I have with David and the memories and the thoughts and then this and that. It's not you can put Jeff down all you guys want and this and that and stuff
Love
like
Jeff
that.
Hardy. They're my number 6. They didn't.
Yeah.
They got put.
Well, I
They
know.
got bumped down one by MSP. I'm sorry. It's
Right. And because you said MSP, I that's one that would be my number 6. But then, but then you go into they were my number 4, and my number 5 would be the Road Warriors. They are the Road Warriors. Also, like I said, watching them and stuff like that back in the good old days. And there was some great matches I've watched between the Road Warriors and Tully and Arn and all that good stuff. So that would be my number 5.
Did we do a favorite wrestling moment of all time?
Yes, I thought we did. Yes, we did, and because we skipped the dad trainer,
Okay.
and now we just get back to.
All right. So we're on to the dumbest wrestling gimmick from the past or present. Dumbest wrestling gimmick. I would have to give it to. Um, I really hated when they made Dean Ambrose like act like a Mountie and all that shit. I thought that was dumb. I don't really like, my opinion, I don't really like funny gimmicks. Like I like to watch wrestling for wrestling. Some of it's good, some of it is just like, all right, it's a little over the top. What they're doing with R-Truth currently, I like it. Sometimes it gets a little over the top, but it's not the dumbest in my opinion. I don't like when they bury wrestlers. That's pretty much what they did to John because he was getting ready to leave, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna act like a Mountie this week. You're gonna act like this guy. You're gonna." I don't know. How can you go from being a world champion to being stupid in the back? Pops, your turn. Pops is frozen. No,
Okay, well, I didn't know when to go because of my Discord for some reason was doing weird stuff. But anyways, all right. So the stupidest. What was that? It was.
It was the stupidest gimmick, past or present.
There's been a couple. There's been a few that I've kind of looked at that I say, what is going on here? But I'm gonna have to go with a lot of them that they put on Big Show back in the day.
Mm.
Like he was this, he was that. Some of the storylines they gave him, and he just ran with them, and stuff like that. So it was dressing up and this and that. I was gonna go with Moppy, the Moppy storyline, because that was another guy that uh, you know, um, I really think he was a very smart man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Shokiski, all that kind of crap that they used to. But he worked them and he did them, and this and that. And I could bring up fucking Dusty and fucking Polka Dot, but the man sold it.
The man
So
made it
there
so
you go.
good.
Right. But Big Show, I felt that a lot of the stupid gimmicks they put on him and stuff like that was just not needed. Like I said, Moppy, Moppy be my second. Cody Stardust, yeah, Archville, that's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't like Stardust at all. Um, you can even go back to like when they tried to do, what was it when they made Goldust 7 or whatever it was? Was it 7?
Oh yeah, 7. He was 7.
Yeah, where they tried to do like the Goldust game. I don't know, that sucked. I honestly I liked Eugene a lot because of what he did with William Regal. It made it work for me. And like DT said, also at least truth can go in the ring because he shows it. He shows he can still work even though they're putting him in live, laugh, love. I think it's funny. I just
Yeah.
all right. Let's
Right.
see.
It's basically I don't like any of the gimmicks when they take a great guy. Somebody in the chat said the Eugene gimmick. You know, he was an awesome wrestler and this and that, very talented, and anywhere he went was really good and stuff like that. But then they put him in a gimmick.
Ooh, pops on for a second.
And a lot of them would be canceled.
Yes. So now we have another question from Korean Mercenary. In your opinion, who was the better heel faction between the NWO, the Authority, and the Bloodline? I'm
Right?
going to say the Authority because I really grew up. I didn't grow up with NWO, but I seen only like a little bit of it. Um, I have a very bad story about the NWO and me spray painting someone's house that didn't turn into an NWO at all. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
um,
Somebody put in the questions over there that you want to use for next week. What was the NWO spray paint story?
we can
And
tell that
David,
story on the second episode, not the first
yeah,
one.
David will have to
You
answer
know.
that one. Yeah.
Uh, and honestly, the Bloodline, it was a good story, but now it's kind of getting stale. I don't like Roman winning constantly. Uh, and just He can't be like I like Roman Reigns to a point where I would like to see him win clean. He doesn't need to keep winning with the help of people. It's making him
I
look
agree. I
soft,
agree.
in my opinion. All right, Pops.
Oh, I'm trying to go down the list and stuff like that. Seeing what people are saying. Now, what was the question? Oh, out of those three factions,
The
what
NWO,
was
the
my favorite?
Authority, and the Bloodline. Who is the best heel faction?
I'm gonna have to give it to NWO. I really, to be honest with you, the Authority thing. Yes, it was good and this and that, but I kind of liked the Authority, and that's why I'm weird. But I like that storyline and this and that. I totally am not into. You were just talking about the bloodline and this and that. Since day one, I have not been down with this storyline. It's starting to grow into what I want it to be more like and stuff like that. But then you know, Rock all of a sudden the good guy and he's the bad guy, and I wanted him to be the good guy. But anyways, I'm gonna go NWO.
So the next one we got is top three managers. Top three managers. I'm gonna go number one, of course, Paul Heyman. Huge Paul Heyman guy. You love to hate him. You know, no matter who's he who he's advocating for. Number two. Huh.
See, this is where I have the advantage because I've been watching it for 40, 50 years because they had managers all the time
Lita.
back in the day.
She was a manager. Lita, part of the Team Extreme, and man, I don't know. You go. You got. I'll think about him. Paul Bearer. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Gabe. I could not think of Paul Bearer's name.
All right, number
Thanks,
one.
Gabe.
Number one. Now these are going to be names you guys might not know or you might know. Captain Lou Albano, one of the greatest managers of all time.
I know that guy.
Uh, Captain Lou. I still to this day when I grow the goatee, I try to grow it out long enough where I could put the little rubber band in there, so I could be like Captain Lou. Um, the manager of the Great Samoans, this and that, blah blah blah. You name them. If they were tag team back in the 70s and 80s, he was the manager of the greatest. Um, Number two, Bobby the Brain Heenan. The man managed nothing but champions, and this and that, and great, 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 great manager, um, and this and that. And no disrespect to anybody that I didn't pick because when you say top three, I mean I got a list that's top 10 and this and that and blah blah blah. But Paul Ellering, who is currently managing a tag team in WWE, but he managed one of my favorites, the Road Warriors. So those are the three guys for me.
Now we have another question. The top five factions.
Bill Gertner. I never thought of Bill
I'm
Gertner.
gonna go. No particular order, by the way. Obviously, Team Extreme, Dudley Boys, the Brood, um, House of Black. I really like them, and the Elite. That is my top five.
Top 5 factions of all time. In no particular order, because of the fact of the matter, I don't want to rank anybody, and this and that, because I really can't. These questions are really hard. I didn't know the questions were going to be so hard. David, you didn't tell me the questions were going to be hard.
I didn't know they were going to be this hard.
Bullet Club, number 1. In my opinion, that's the first name. When you say faction comes to my mind. NWO. All right. The Hart Foundation. Because I only want to go for, I don't know, 5. So that was 3 of them, right? All right. The Four Horsemen.
Good job. I was only
what
saying
you
it.
well, I was kind of leading into it. I was kind of giving you kind of a little thing.
Gotcha.
The Four Horsemen would be right up there. And last but not least, for factions, what do I want to put in there?
That's a good one, Arch.
Oh, I want to put it. The Wyatt family. I do like the Wyatt family. I see somebody put that up there, but the Wyatt family, and the whole thing, and I want to put them in there because I was thinking there was other ones that I was thinking and stuff like that.
It'd be easier if we were going top 10. Just saying. All right, we'll do 2 more questions. 2 more questions. And then we're going to move on to our Elimination Chamber predictions. The Flock. Yeah, with Raven. That's sick. Raven was one of my top wrestlers, like, of all time. I liked Raven
And
a lot.
Mr. Fuji was awesome. Yeah, I know Dad Trader was like, man, I forgot it. Damn, I forgot about him. But Mr. Fuji was awesome. He always brought you the Oriental wrestlers and stuff like that. And he was good. I don't know whatever happened to Raven.
So we got top 10 favorite ECW and WCW wrestlers. ECW, I don't really know many WCW wrestlers. I know a couple, so I'll include them in my list. We'll go RVD, Sandman, Sabu, um,
Dirty Dick.
Balls Mahoney, X Pac. He was part of WCW. Sting, part of WCW. Goldberg, Tommy Dreamer. Thank you, John.
The guy with the toilet. Yeah, the toilet. Right.
Ultimo Dragon was. CM Punk was in ECW. Eddie Guerrero. That'll be my 10th. Because he was in WCW.
So we're kind of doing like a big
collection.
Or a collection of 10 guys, right?
Yeah.
Stunning Steve Austin. All right.
New
in
Jack.
ECW and WCW. Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I got to put him up there. Ric Flair.
Whatever.
Dusty Rhodes. I'm trying to go down the line. I'm trying to name guys that you didn't already name, but it's kind of hard. Dirty Dick Dudley. You gotta love Dirty Dick Dudley. And of course, I gotta throw in Tommy Dreamer. I love Tommy Dreamer. I also loved Raven. I also loved, I mean, most of the you know, Bubba Ray Dudley. Uh,
You're up to 7.
I should just say Bud Dudley Boys because that would have been that's I picked three of the my top favorite was, you know, but I couldn't put in a tag team because
You're still 7.
you know, and I didn't even use them earlier. Snap.
You're at 7.
Uh, Dater.
8.
Let's go down the list. Chris Benoit
All right. Who's that number 10?
and Mongo McMichaels.
All right. We got one more question. Who's going to get the final question? Yeah. The gangsta is sick. New Jack.
You say New Jack. And
I love New Jack. I I don't know.
I used to like Sabu until I met him.
I met him. He was nice to me.
He was not very cordial.
I don't know that many New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers. So I could not give you a top 10. I'm sorry, Arch.
And I can't say their names. I mean, if you showed me a picture, yeah, I like that guy. That's that dude that. But I am horrible on names in New Japan.
Ooh, Hoovy. That's a good one. I like Hoovy.
I like that little list. Yeah, that's good. You know, and then there's people that you don't think about. Glacier. I haven't thought about Glacier in like forever.
10 extreme moments of all time. Well, I'll do 5. We'll do 5 for the extreme moments. New Jack tasing a guy and having him fall off scaffolding. That was insane. I didn't watch that live or anything. I've rewatched it as an adult now, and I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking insane. Edge spearing Mick Foley through the flaming table at WrestleMania. Sammy Guevara doing the cutter from ladder to ladder to Cody in his last match. Darby Allin doing the swanton onto the outside with all the chairs, and Jeff was laying there, and Jeff got up and missed. And then my all-time top favorite number 1 extreme moment was Edge spearing Jeff in the triple threat TLC match at that SummerSlam. That's a number 6 for me, DT. Taker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
Now that is my number 1. Thank you. You guys, sneaking in your number 6s. If I'm gonna go 5, we're gonna go 5. We're gonna go with that. What you just said, Taker and Undertaker, and the Hell in the Cell. You gotta think that was the most extreme moment. The death match between Terry Funk and Mankind in Japan, where they had the exploding ring death match thing, and then there was all a bunch of
exploding barbed wire death match.
Yes, that was pretty extreme. You know, that'd be number 2. And then gotta go Stone Cold in I believe I can't remember who it was. Stone Cold, and it was at a pay-per-view, and the cover of the pay-per-view has got Stone Cold all fucking bloody and blood gushing down his face and this and that. That would be interesting. But that was number 3 for me. You know, you guys got to remember, I'm old, and so I can't remember some of the names and things. But that would be number 3. Number 4, we're gonna go with Cruel versus Nat Tremont. That just recently happened. That was one of
Yes.
the most fucking extreme fucking things I've ever seen. I mean, there was guslets or whatever they're
Gusset
called, and
plates. Shit.
there was
Pops
fucking
was being
light
covered.
bulbs and this and that. So that was number 4. And number 5 would have to be Mick Foley, the flaming bat, the flaming bat on Edge.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, had him in the sharpshooter and this and that. Yeah,
Montreal
thank you.
Screwjob. Just
No, it
kidding.
wasn't the Montreal
It was a
screw job.
joke. Haha. Funny.
Nope, nobody got screwed in Montreal.
All right. Yeah. Orton versus Cactus Jack, underrated. Completely. We are going to move on now to our not WrestleMania, Jesus Christ. Elimination Chamber predictions. First up, we have the Judgment Day versus the New Catch Republic of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I'm going Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. I would love to see them be the tag team champions. Honestly, I want them to break up the unified tag team championships because I'm sick of seeing that. I want them to have the currently their tag team division is stacked, but you only have one set of belts. So if you just boop, make it 2 again, you can have
Make it 2 again.
so much.
It would be much better.
Pops, who are you going with?
Oh, I'm going with the same as you on that because I don't want I want Judgment Day to no longer have belts. I like the Judgment Day, everything like that. It's a dirty Dom thing. I don't like it, and blah 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 blah, and this and that. But I believe that Dunn deserves, now that he got his goddamn name back, he deserves to have some gold around his waist because he's the most underrated wrestler I believe right now currently in the WWE. We
So I
all
don't
look at,
think
that Butch fucking gimmick. I should have thought of that earlier. The Butch fucking gimmick was the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard of.
I like the Judgment Day. They're all right, but I don't know. Like Pop said, they're very high on the Judgment Day right now, and they're literally the most sought after tag team, like, or faction, I should say, because they're on every single episode of Raw and SmackDown. And it's just like, at this point, I'm kind of just sick of seeing them. But as I was saying,
Usos back.
I don't think that this is in any particular order, because the next on my little cheat sheet I have over here, we have the men's elimination chamber. We have Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley versus Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus LA Knight. Yeah. You can go first on this one. What is your prediction, Father?
I like that idea, Dad Trainer. That was a very good idea.
What is your prediction?
And I've lost audio. So I don't know what's going on.
What is your prediction, sir?
You need me to do my prediction, is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Yeah, I've been waiting.
My prediction of who's going to win is, I was discussing this last week, or I believe it was, with one of the guys that are in the thing right here, Gabe. And I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre.
I'm also saying Drew McIntyre because do you want to give your reasoning?
Bro. disconnected.
All right, you're back. You want to give your reasoning of why you want it to be Drew McIntyre?
The reason why I wanted Drew McIntyre is because of the fact of the matter, it sets up for a better WrestleMania match because Drew deserves to get in front of a live audience overseas, deserves to win the title. Because last time he won the title, it was overseas. You know, he got screwed out of it by fucking, Roman Reigns and this and that. So I think, and his like I don't want to call it his home country because it's not his home country, but being overseas, winning the Elimination Chamber and getting a shot at Seth, I don't think he'll beat Seth at WrestleMania, but at least it gives us a better storyline going into that.
So you ready to see where we completely are different here? I personally want him to win. I want him to beat Seth at WrestleMania so he can finally have that big win, that big title win, and he can have a title reign in front of an audience. The last time he had a world championship, it was during COVID. They couldn't. There was no fans behind him. The fans were behind him, but there was no fans in the crowd. There was nothing.
I agree.
He carried pretty much the pandemic era, and I think he should be rewarded. Yeah, and like Gabe said, Drew's menace run should be rewarded. It should be. He's the only one that should win due to. He's the only one that really should win because he's the only one that deserves to win, in my
Drew,
opinion.
we're talking Drew, right?
Drew McIntyre, yes.
He does. He deserves it. And the exact reason why I said and you said, he deserves it. I mean, the guy, I used to put Drew down a lot. David will tell you, you know what I'm saying, because I don't know. He went from a really
Yes,
skinny small
DT.
guy to a really buff big guy. But like David was talking about the pandemic, I want to bring up a little bit more about the pandemic. Who did we reward after the pandemic for leaving and not coming around? We gave that person the world title and now this run that's fucking forever. Yeah,
Acknowledge me.
Roman Reigns. Acknowledge you.
Let's see. Next up, we have the women's chamber. Raquel Rodriguez,
There you go. If
Naomi,
LA Knight,
Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Tiffany Stratton.
the success for me also, Dad Trainer, as long as LA Knight eliminates Logan. Logan Paul wins that motherfucker. I'm.
Pops is blowing a head gasket.
That's right.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Cause I would love to see LA Knight eliminate Logan, cause then they can work off each other so much. I don't like Logan Paul. I never have liked Logan Paul. Yeah, exactly, Arch. If Logan wins, we riot completely.
Exactly.
But
But you just read off the women's, right?
moving on to the women's chamber, we got Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah. Who do
I'm
you want me
going
to go
Becky
with?
Lynch.
We were discussing this earlier, and I told you who I was thinking about. Uh, you know, but do I want to see Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley? Yes, that would be good. So I'm going to go with Liv Morgan, though. I want to go ahead, say it.
All right, DT says he hates to see it,
Eh,
but he says Liv. See, I
Smart man.
I love Liv Morgan to death. Don't get me wrong. She's one of my favorite wrestlers. I would love to see Liv versus Rhea. The story is better,
Her story is better,
but
right?
it's got to be Becky Lynch because they've been ducking each other. Her
Right.
and Rhea have been ducking each other. They've never had that match. I want to see the
And
man versus mommy. I'm saying it. And
Never
then
been to a Tommy
we
movie, I
have
believe.
the last match: Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, they have been ducking each
That's
other on the main roster. Yeah, they could. Now, see, that's the thing. Is like
Liv does need a WrestleMania
she
moment.
does need a WrestleMania main event. I think it. I think the women's match should main event night one. One of the two women's matches should main event night one, and then Cody Roman main event night two.
But sorry, give me a sec. But who that? Oh, well, you know who I want and who I don't want.
Yes, you want
Rhea
Rhea.
Ripley.
You want Rhea. I want
Definitely.
Rhea. She's in her hometown. Not really her home. Her home. Whatever. Yeah, it is her hometown, right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's her hometown. She deserves a big win. I don't know how much of a big win it really is being Nia Jax. But
Nia Jax is wow.
Nia Jax is the head of the table, just so everyone knows.
That's right. You are correct.
So to quickly run down back
If
our
you want to get into that,
we
you
are
want to get
not
into
gonna
that.
get into that. We're
We can get
gonna
into
quickly
that.
run back down our our predictions. For the tag team championship match, we both went the same person. The men's chamber, we both went the same person. The women's chamber, I went Becky Lynch. Pops went Liv Morgan. And then the women's championship match, we both went Rhea. Now, for the we'll do this as a little competition. As the tiebreaker, we'll do the Grayson Waller effect segment. I'm saying they're gonna set up either a tag team match or it's gonna be um or Seth is gonna come out with Cody and then The Rock is gonna come out with Roman. So I'll say tag team or managers. Pops?
Oh,
Prediction on what is going to happen in the Grayson Waller effect.
Seth Rollins beats everybody up. Nah,
So, Seth.
I just don't understand why we're having this.
I
I just don't
so
get it.
100. I'll be 100% honest with you. I think what had happened was they were supposed to, in my humble opinion, I think it was supposed to be Cody wins or not. CM Punk wins the Rumble. CM Punk, Rollins, WrestleMania. Somehow, I feel like at that point Cody was going to go into the Chamber, win the Chamber because he hasn't won the Elimination Chamber yet. Whatever. But now they're trying to pivot on that. Oh, Seth is hurt and CM Punk is hurt. So now we want to do like Archie said. You know, they want to do The Rock versus Seth cuz Seth stepped up in he stepped up for Cody. But then again, I have an opinion on what's going to happen at WrestleMania, but I'm going to keep that for our WrestleMania predictions.
That'd be good.
But I think Seth Rollins is going to end up being at Cody's side through it all. Either tag team match, they could do it at night one or at WrestleMania. I hope that they don't.
I think we got another pay-per-view right before WrestleMania.
I think it's just this. I think it's just Elimination Chamber. And then it's
I
because
could buy.
WrestleMania is in April.
Right. That's true. That's true. So I think, yeah, this is it.
So this is like, I mean, if I think what they'll do is they'll probably, if they end up doing a tag team match, it's gonna be a night one WrestleMania, but I don't want it to be the main event. I don't want it to overshadow the storylines we already have. I
Right.
personally, like I said, I want to see a women's main event, either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky defending their title. I think
Right.
Bayley and Io Sky main eventing night one,
Would
blow
made
the
it
roof
that
off
would
the place.
right. That would be a very good. I like your opinion on that. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if we get you know Rock versus Seth or any of that before WrestleMania or maybe after WrestleMania. Something's going to happen at WrestleMania that's going to make all this turn into something, and why we would have
Yeah, why we would have, but and I
well,
think,
exactly. I don't see Roman working shit. He's only worked 25, 26 times in 3 years.
all right, Pops is mad. Pops is
I
angry. Pops doesn't like Roman Reigns at all. Yes,
It's
you
not that
can.
I don't like Roman Reigns. Man, I cried when that fucking man told me that, he had to leave and this and that. I cried. I loved him. I just, I don't like this storyline, and I love his family. The bloodline, I love that family. I always have, uh, from their
I
dad,
agree.
Rock's dad, Rocky and fucking SD Jones. Those two were like one of my favorite tag teams, and I just thought of them again now.
All right, so real
It's
quick,
not that
before you get on going on, what do you think is going to happen in the Grayson Waller segment? So I can just put something down here.
um they're gonna hype up WrestleMania, or
Just
there's gonna be a. Do you think there's gonna be a match? Maybe something. The two of them, Seth and Cody take on Grayson Waller and that other weirdo.
all right. So I put maybe a match or just hype.
Yeah, maybe a match or just hype. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly,
But I'm
DT. He
leaning
doesn't.
towards because Austin Aries there. What the hell is that guy's name?
Austin Theory,
Austin.
buddy.
Austin Theory, whatever. He's not on the card, and we're going to want to get him on the card. There's only four other matches, so that's got to lead into something.
Yeah, that's gotta be a good A-Town Clown. Yes. Um.
Yeah, well, I'll acknowledge him when he can work as many. You know, here's my thing about that. Let me, can we talk? Can I get real for a second about Roman Reigns? It's not the fact that I think he's a horrible champion or anything like that. It's that the persona
I
that they're
have to
trying
run
to
to the
give him
bathroom.
is that he is the greatest of all time, knocking off people like Bob
I'll be right back.
Backlund and Pedro Morales. When Pedro held that belt and this and that, Pedro freaking wrestled 6,000 fucking times, and 2,000 of them were title defenses and this and that all over the world and against all these many different people. And it's just that's right, you're poking at me. Before Friday, you're poking me, Dad Trader. Get me all worked up. Don't make me look for the glasses. I'll find the glasses. But yeah, but that's kind of the deal is just. I mean, I don't know if it's Roman himself, and I mean I understand it's all storyline and this and that, and I'm gonna run back to that meme where it's still real to me. I just I get very very emotional when talking Roman Reigns. I think we might. I think we might get a nice surprise at
What
WrestleMania.
surprise?
No, he's asking if you guys think we're gonna get a surprise at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I honestly think Cody wins.
I honestly think so also. And I think that Rock makes it happen because that's one of the things I said to David I wanted to talk about tonight was the SmackDown ending.
We can talk about SmackDown ending if you want to talk about it.
I would. I mean, we don't have to go over the entire card, but last Friday, the SmackDown ending, I mean, we all, there you go. That's the surprise. That would be great. All of a sudden, Rich's Malachi's going to come flying in. What the heck happened there?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, geez.
Don't pay that.
Um, but yeah, I think at WrestleMania we're gonna get some surprise, and I wanted to talk about that.
You see, pops.
What are we doing? We're
No,
dancing.
don't. No. Just talk.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Okay. That ending, I was he did that whole speech and The Rock and this and that, and I can feel they're talking about the unification of the greatest bloodline there can be now that Rock has joined sides. But you've seen things all through there if you watched it and you watched it closely, like when he was talking about who's gonna lose and this and that, and he kind of points that fucking at Roman, and he's kind of talking to Roman when he's supposed to be talking about Cody. Cody, and then at the very end, they all raise the ones, and he puts an L. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right, DT? Just talk. Don't worry about me.
So, I found that to be very interesting. And what it could lead to, we don't know. And, I'm thinking WrestleMania, there's going to be a big surprise. And I like David's idea he said to me the other day. And I don't know if he
Thumbs up.
hasn't brought it up at all about the Usos going one-on-one with their dad as special guest referee. I'd love to see it and put a final ending to that. Dad comes out, Rikichi comes out and says, "Listen, the two of you, this is going back, and this is the end of Monday Night Raw. You guys have been going back and forth, and this is killing me. It's killing the family. It's blah 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 blah. So you have one more like last match. I'm gonna be the referee, and whoever wins wins, and then you fucking squash this shit. And for me, that would be the Usos come back. I love the Usos. I.
So we're going to now go over the roster for 2K24. I'm gonna go.
What's up, Dad?
Yeah,
God,
beat everyone up. All right, let's
Solo
rapid
would become my most hated wrestler of all
let's
time.
rapid fire this. AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Alba Fire, Alexa Bliss, Andre Chase, Andre the Giant, Angel Garza, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Ashante Adonis, Asuka, Austin Theory, Axiom, B-Fab, Bad Bunny, Baron Corbin, Batista, Bailey, Becky Lynch, Beth Phoenix, Bianca Belair, Big Boss Man, Big E, Blair Davenport, Bobby the Brain Heenan as a manager, Bobby Lashley, Boogeyman, Booker T, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, Brock Lesnar 1, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Brooks Jensen, Bruno Sammartino,
That's a survivalist. That's a shock right there that he's in it.
Brutus Creed, Butch, Cactus Jack, Cameron Grimes, Candice LeRae, Carmella, Carmelo Hayes, Kathy Kelly, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Channing Lorenzo, Charlotte
Who the
Flair.
fuck is
Charlotte Flair,
Kathy Kelly?
WrestleMania
Kelly
33.
Kelly.
What?
Kelly Kelly, not Kathy Kelly.
Kathy Kelly is that name right there.
Where? Show it to me. Can't see him. All right. Okay. I don't know Kathy Kelly.
She's a backstage announcer.
Oh, Kathy Kelly.
Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, Chyna, Cody Rhodes Mattel action figure, Cody Rhodes Undashing, Cora Jade, Cruz del Toro, Dakota Kai, Damian Priest, Damon Kemp, Dexter Loomis, Diesel, Dijak, Doink the Clown, Dominic Mysterio, Drew Gulak, Drew McIntyre, Dude Love, Duke Hudson, Dusty Rhodes 76, Eddie Guerrero, Elton Prince, Eric Bischoff, Eric, Eve Torres, Farouk, Fallon Henley,
That means no polka fucking dots.
Finn Balor, George Steele, Gigi Dolan, Giovanni Vinci, Grayson Waller, Gunther, Harley Race, Hollywood Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan 02, Humberto, Ilya Dragunov, Indy Hartwell, Isla Dawn, Ivar, Ivy Nile, Io Sky, JC Jane, Jake the Snake Roberts, JBL, JD McDonough, Jerry the King Lawler, Jay Uso, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Jimmy Uso, Jinder Mahal, Joaquin Wild, Joe Coffey, Joe Gacy, John Cena, Johnny Gargano, Josh Briggs, Julius Creed, Kane, Karrion Kross, Katana Chance, Caden Carter, Ken Shamrock. Big shock there for me. Thank you, Arch, for the 10 bits. Kevin Nash, Kevin Owens, Kit Wilson, Kofi Kingston, Kurt Angle, LA Knight, yeah, Lita, Liv Morgan,
Yeah.
Logan Paul, Ludwig Kaiser, Luke Gallows, Macho King Randy Savage from WrestleMania 6, Macho Man Randy Savage, Mankind Maurice, Maxine Dupree, Michin Mia Yim, Mick Foley, Mighty Molly, Miss Elizabeth, Molly Holly, Montez Ford, Muhammad Ali, MVP, Natalia, Nathan Frazier, Nikki Cross, Nikita Lyons, Noam Dar, Omos, Otis, Paul Bearer, Paul Heyman, Piper Niven, Post Malone, weird. Don't know why he's in the game along with Bad Bunny, but that's okay.
Like the idea.
R-Truth, Randy Orton, Raquel Rodriguez, Razor Ramon, Rey Mysterio, WrestleMania 22, Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania 36, Rick Rude, Rick Steiner, Ricky Steamboat, Ricochet, Ridge Holland, Rikishi, Rob Van Dam, Robert Roode, Roman Reigns, Ronda Rousey, Roddy Piper, Roxanne Perez, Sami Zayn, Sangha, Santos Escobar, Scarlett, Scott Hall, Scott Steiner, Scripps, Seth freaking Rollins, Shane McMahon, Shawn Michaels, Shayna Baszler, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Shotzi, Solo Sikoa, Sonya Deville, Stacy Keibler, Stardust, pre-order edition, Stephanie McMahon, Steve Austin, Superstar Billy Graham, also pre-order edition, Six, Tamina, Ted DiBiase, Tegan Knox, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, The Hurricane, The Miz, The Rock, Thea Hale, Teddy Long, Tiffany Stratton, Tommaso Ciampa, Tony D'Angelo, Trick Williams, Triple H 08, Triple H WrestleMania 30, Trish Stratus, Tyler Bate, Tyler Breeze, Ultimate Warrior, Umaga, Uncle Howdy, Undertaker 98, Vader, Valhalla, Veer Mahan, Wade Barrett, Wendy Chu, Wesley, William Regal, Wolfgang, X-Pac, Xavier Woods, and Xia Li, and Yokozuna, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark.
Now, can you go over those again?
Holy shit.
I thought you were going to pass out in the middle of it. I like it.
Yeah, it's a huge roster. I will pull it back up. I'm not going to pull it up for you guys, but I'll read some stuff. Thank you again for the bits, Archie. No, it's not gonna fucking load. God
I
damn
didn't know we could do the bits things.
you can do them. They're just not gonna pop up on stream
Oh no! Oh, okay. I got you.
because I don't have any of my alerts set up.
Yeah.
Why is this not loading? Oh, here we go. Oh, why did it give me that?
So I wanted to do that.
Thank you, Pops. For the
Oh,
bits.
no problem. I wanted to get rid of the 15.
Yeah, we didn't get Tyson, but we got Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, you would think that if they're gonna, this is the 40 years of WrestleMania, right, or something.
Yes.
Then you would have to think that. And I believe the Muhammad Ali would have to go to WrestleMania 1 because I remember Muhammad Ali was there at WrestleMania 1. Maybe it's going to be a downloadable character. You would think, but
I don't know why it's
hell of a
SmackDown.
roster.
Yeah, there's a. I was reading it before. It's over 200 people. There was like 8 new people or something like that. 8 or 9 of them.
Teddy Long, it's going to be awesome because now they're going to have referees, right? Because Teddy Long was a referee
Yes,
long before he was
Teddy
a
Long
man.
was a referee. He was a manager. He was a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the. I like Post Malone. I don't know about the whole Post Malone and Bad Bunny being in the game. So, but they're cool, I guess. If you wanna.
That's what I was going to say, Tyson. Tyson was one of the biggest
Yeah, he was in one of the biggest storylines.
back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked how AEW kind of stole it and kind of brought him over there with Chris Jericho and stuff like that. That was one of the finer things I liked about AEW. But, well, what more do we have to talk about? Because, it's getting to be that time.
We don't have much more to talk about. Let's see. We went down our things.
Talked about
Went down our predictions. Went over the roster. Went over
questions.
Did that.
And everybody that put out questions, I thank you very, very much for that. And we do have a spot in the Discord, so if you remember the Discord, you could throw the questions in there, and we very much appreciate that. So we can, because some of the questions tonight they were really hard.
Yeah,
I didn't
great
have any time to
questions.
think about them. Great questions, terrific question. I love all you guys for throwing at us questions and stuff like that. And then I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch this. And I'm going to go, why didn't you think of that you know, when you were doing the thing?
All right,
Top five.
So seeing it's the end of the podcast, do you want to do any? Do you want to do a few shout outs?
What do you mean, shout?
Do
You
you
want
want
me to shout out loudly?
Do you want to shout out anyone? Remember how? All right, so for people who don't know, I have a podcast named had a podcast named Ragtag Recaps, which will be coming back very soon. And at the end of it, we would choose like three
People to shout out.
people to shout out at the end of the stream or the end of the pod.
Sure.
So I'll use my 3 shout outs being shout out to Survivalist or Richard for everything you do for RTPW, Wrestle Talk with David and Pops, everything you do for us. Forever grateful, forever in debt to you.
Thanks. Squishy hearts.
I also want to shout out everyone that came in tonight. You know, I can try to go down the list. Dad Trainer, Archie, Gabe, John, Matt Ward. You guys are all. Thank you guys for coming and being here for the first ever Wrestle Talk with David and Pops. Appreciate you guys. And my third shout out is going to be to hopefully going to be our first interview, Heel Kevin. Because without Heel Kevin, we would not be doing
all the good
any of this shit. Plain and simple. Korean Mercenary, I will get back to you on that DM. I just seen it. I will respond after I get everything done over here. But, Pops, your shout out.
I would like to shout out. There's if I gotta get three, I'm gonna give it to my number one shout out is gonna be to the Dad Trainer. And why, you ask? Because Dad Trainer, without Dad Trainer, we wouldn't be in the W2K. We wouldn't have the TW at this and that. He gave us a shot. He put us on in the E-Feds first, and I thank him very much for that. Because without him, we wouldn't be in this E-Fed world and discussing these things, and we wouldn't have a Tuesday night, we wouldn't have a Saturday night RTPW without him. So that's my number one shout out, goes to him. My number two shout out goes to Derek Up North. Derek Up North is a great content creator, and
Oh, we lost Pops. He'll be back. Just give him a second.
I already mentioned, Heel Kevin. So I'm going to go with my the man's got the moistest mouth in the world, and he's also got an EFED PEW that I very much enjoy. I very much enjoy it late at night, listening to him speak. He's my bedtime storyteller. Just anything he has to say, I just listen to him and fall asleep. So those are my three shout outs. And like you said, everybody that comes, every show. I mean, all of you guys. I'm giving a fourth shout out, and it's to everybody on Twitch that has ever come, watched me, watched David, watched anything, and this and that. So that's a shout out to everybody on Twitch.
All
Except
right.
for
Well, guys, that is a wrap of our first ever Wrestle Talk with David and Bob. So we'll see you again. Oh shit! I completely forgot to say. We're gonna quickly go down the card for.
Oh yeah.
For this week.
Korean Mercenary 69 asked me, "What's your issue with Dave and Pops? And also, what is your opinion on facing Dave and Pops in a handicap match soon?" Well, Korean Mercenary 69, my issue with Dave and Pops is that they clearly need a reality check. As for facing them in a handicap match, bring it on. I'll knock some sense into those two clowns faster than you can say wrestling drama.
All right, bitch.
Let's see who's talking after I show them what's what in the ring.
What are we seeing here?
X-Daniel asked me, how do you think tonight's show is going to be? Well, X-Daniel, let me tell you, tonight's show is going to be a roller coaster of emotions, drama, and probably more delusion than a group therapy session with a herd of unicorns. Strap in, grab your popcorn, and get ready for the ride of a lifetime with Dave, Pops, and the whole circus of characters they call a wrestling show.
See, he puts us over there, but he's a dickhead the other. I'm real sick of you, Dr. Phil. Why are you so small?
Watching here?
We're watching. It's going down all of the things that so we will go down the. Oh shit! I don't even know why I did this. I don't know why I switched over, because I don't even have the graphics made yet.
That's DT's egg.
I suck. All right. So let's go down the card real quick. I will just read it off to you guys if you guys have not read it in the Discord yet. Match number 1.
There's also a video.
Match number 1. We have Pops versus Dr. Phil in a Rage in a Cage. Match number 2. We have a 5-way dance. Allie, Megan Winters, Sweet Dollface, Jelani Winters, and a mystery opponent will go head to head to figure out the number 1 contender for the world or women's world championship. Number 1 contender. Dami's Deathmatch Open Challenge Ultra-Violent Championship Proving Ground match. Dami is facing a mystery opponent. Then we have match number 4, Tag Team Deathmatch. Sinister Church is making their tag team debut versus House of Extreme making their tag team debut. Match number 5, we have a trios match, High Voltage with a mystery partner, and the Unsafe Order with a mystery partner. And then match number 5, we had a fatal 5-way for the final entrant in the National Openweight Championship. David versus Reaper versus Joker the Wise versus Phobos versus Relentless. Stacked card we got coming up Saturday. That'll lead us into next week, which is the go-home week of Ultimate Supremacy. So next week, we'll have 4 total streams. We'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday.
There we go. What about that?
It won't be an early start because of the pay-per-view, Rich, because it'll be like 5 a.m. for us. So
Yeah.
it'll be over way before we go live, thankfully. I will be watching the pay-per-view from work. But
I will be sleeping. No, just kidding.
Pops will probably be sleeping.
I'm up usually about 5 a.m. That's when I get 4 or 5 a.m. to go pee. So I might as well just stay up. I'm going to go to bed early and just stay up.
But we've been here for an hour and 40 minutes. We will see you guys Saturday for RTPW Presents Saturday Night Showdown. We're going to go out and we're going to raid the Mr. Greatest.
It's nice.
The MHW world.
Thank you guys, every one of you, for coming. And this was very fun. And I can't wait to next Wednesday to do it all over again. But make sure you get those questions in the Discord and any of your story time if you want a story time with Pops and any of that stuff and this and that. And if there's things that you guys want to talk about and things that you want us to discuss, it would be very much greatly appreciated. Go to the Discord and join on it.
All right, guys. We will see you Saturday. Have a good night. Later, guys.
Peace.